was involved very much in Istanbul in '96, and it was really exciting at the time. It was cutting edge to have cities involved and cities having a voice. And as both the DD said as well as Adam, cities are the tool. Cities are the place that we think we can make the difference. I mean, with all, and I'm going to maybe go a bit off topic, with all the challenges we're faced with governance right now, the disillusionment with governance right now, we really are starting to look at the levels of governance which are closest to the people, because people want to know that they're being heard. And this is so important, and this is again coming back to cities for all. If we're looking at, and as the DD told some amazing stories from Rwanda, I've heard them many times before, and each time they said tingles down my back, just about how you can take a place that was facing obviously substantive, huge challenges facing the tragedy that happened there, and start and say, well, we need to engage women to deal with plastic bags. Such a very, very functional issue, but something that I think is really important. So, and an environmental issue that every city in the world faces. So again, I think this is the cities for all and social inclusion is this thread that we seem to keep coming back to time and time again. So just so you know how this is going to roll, I'm going to ask one more speaker to speak then, because we don't want to have 6 speakers in a row. I'm going to have 2 or 3 questions come up, so if you have questions, please be prepared. It'd be great if you ask one person. I'd ask that you not ask the whole panel, because then it becomes giving it back to the panel again. I want to hear from your perspective. So the next person I'd like to ask is Mr. Alex Manuvi. He is from Plan International. Plan is a really important partner for UN Habitat, and UN Habitat truly believes in partnerships. We believe that we can't do it on our own. We're quite a small UN agency, and so we really believe that we have to collectively. And Plan has been a partner for us both, actually in a significant gender project we're doing right now in Kampala, Uganda, where we're looking at how young women integrate and such. But I know that Alex has got some really interesting things around monitoring and some of the tools they're using, so I'd really like Alex to come up and give a small talk.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon or good night, everybody. My name is Alex. I'm really happy to be here sharing some of the experiences that we have been working together with UN Habitat and Women in Cities in a global program that we're implementing now in 7 cities actually. So we're in Lima, in Peru, in Cairo, in Egypt, in Kampala, in Delhi, in India, in Hanoi, and we're expanding also to the Solomon Islands soon. So really a global program, trying to think about the issues and how the lived reality of adults and girls in cities. One thing that we have now during the CSW, a couple of girls that are here from Egypt. I don't know, some of you were in the high-level panel on Monday, and one of them was there. And I was talking to them this morning about how is their life in Cairo. I've been there in Cairo many times, and one of the things that struck me once and again is the idea of that they do not talk actually about acts of harassment in the street itself, but what really matters to them is the fear of moving around the city. And one thing that we have realized that we have not been able to capture this data and this information in a way that is meaningful, that can really help us try to direct investments and try to direct the decisions that we make. So the tool of the city is actually failing these girls in a way that we cannot allow to. So we really understanding also perceptions is something that we have considered as very important if we really want to count the invisible, if we really want to hear the voices of these girls. We know, and we have made an estimation that by 2030 there will be 700 million girls living in cities. So these are 700 million stories, 700 million lives, and 700 million reasons for us to better understand their reality, so that we can program and so that cities can become real tools for change. Let me just share a little bit with you why we doing this. In terms of the significance of data collection and data analysis, one thing that we know, and as I was saying, is we need to have a better, deeper understanding of the lived reality of everybody in the city. Our interest is around adults and girls because they face multiple forms of discrimination, including age, including their sex. So if we really want to do something, we really have to go deeper. We also think that if you don't have good data, you cannot improve your performance. So the cities have to really have real-time data in order to be able to react, to invest, to send some more services. In terms of advocacy and participation, something that the DD was mentioning as it's important, it's fundamental. If there's no data that comes with the voices of the girls, it's impossible to do advocacy in a way that is meaningful or participate. And finally, in terms of being girl-centered, and by girl-centered is, even in the new urban agenda, we're very happy because it does really take gender equality at its heart. But our vision is for the cities to go beyond this tool to really become a tool that becomes gender transformative, so that cities will help us achieve gender equality and a well-being for all. But how do we do that? One thing that it's easier said than done when you start to think like, how do you actually hear the voices of girls in a scale? And how do we go beyond the dry statistics? How do you put the soul to the data? And that's what we have been trying to do with UN Habitat and Women in Cities. So we started developing what we call the Girl Empowerment Star. I don't know if you can see. Yes, apparently you can. I cannot myself. But what this is based on research that has been done by Professor Robert Chambers, but also from the private sector on feedback mechanisms used by clients. This is cutting-edge theory and practice. What we try to do is to quantify qualitative information. What you see here are the areas that we ask adolescent girls and boys about their perceptions of the city. So we do not ask about their individual perception, but how they see others in the city. This gives us data that we can actually aggregate, both giving us some quantitative data, but at the same time giving us some qualitative data. It's extremely important for us when we do it in any city and in any project, because it helps us guide what are the issues that really matter to girls. What is it that we need to focus on? Is it on the transit issues? Is it on the public spaces? Is it on the voice? And what is it that we need to change? So it also helps us in the dialogue with the authorities, but also help us to make funding decisions. It's a really fantastic tool that we have tested now in 8 countries, and that is ready to go to scale. So these are the type of tools that we can give to city authorities to really take and make the decisions that they need in order to be meaningful. Let me just show to you some of the results of the things that we have found out in some of the cities. For example, in Kampala, in Uganda, 45% of the girls reported sexual harassment when using public transportation services. This is directly from the research that we did. In Delhi, which is a number that I always, when I read it in any event, it just gets my skin really very. In Delhi, 95% of adolescent girls do not feel safe in the city. So that's basically almost every adolescent girl in the city. In Lima, only 2% of the girls reported always feeling safe. In Hanoi, 36% of the girls reported that they seldom access emergency services, so they don't know how to call the police, they don't know how to get some services. And in Cairo, 32% of the girls feel that they never or could talk to anyone about their safety concerns. So there's data that really helps to think, okay, this is the area that we need to invest on. This is a quote of one of the girls from Delhi, which brings also the qualitative aspect to this data. We feel unsafe while going to school as we have to leave early and have no company of other girls. At the hours, the roads are empty. So as part of these feedback mechanisms and tools, we, together with a coalition of different organizations, have been working on developing a partnership, coalition to really hold governments accountable around the commitment that we have been doing on the SDGs. It is called Equal Measures, and it's basically a call to action where we are, first of all, saying that we need to accelerate the gender data revolution. So there's, luckily the SDGs do have a lot of indicators that are focused around gender and in particular adolescent girls. So we need to really produce the data to support us in the tracking of these commitments that the government have made. And this coalition made out of the private sector, but also NGOs, as well as organizations from the Global South, will be holding governments accountable during the next 13 years on the commitment that we have made. Of course, the SDGs around SDG 5, but also SDG 11 on cities will be one of it that we will be tracking. Another thing that we're really saying is that we need to invest in the national statistical capacities. This is important not only at the national level, but as we all know, also at the city level. And this comes back to the idea of using the tools to really have solid data to make decisions at the city level. And data that is disaggregated, but that also takes the unique perspective of adolescents, and in particular adolescent girls. The third thing that we're saying is that we need to embrace different types of data and resources. As I was saying previously, like the Girls Empowerment Starter, we cannot make decisions based only on quantitative data. Qualitative data is as important in order to make decisions and to make the tool of the city relevant in the 21st century and the SDG era. The data has also to help us to drive the decision that we make and to build this movement. Everybody's talking about the movement, but you cannot do a real movement for change and gender equality at the city level and to implement the urban agenda if we do not have data that is understood by everybody. This includes children and girls. And finally, the fifth thing that we're saying that is really, really important is that we need data that is ethical, and the process of collecting the data does take ethical considerations into account. Data that is not in the right hands can be very dangerous as well. All of this, if we do all this, we can really count the invisible. And if we count the invisible, we can have the new urban agenda implemented and, of course, the SDGs. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alex. 700 million. 700 million young girls will be living in cities. That's amazing, and it's so important, again, as he mentioned, that they have to be heard, they cannot be invisible, that we have to take into account not only their needs at a programmatic level, so that we have to have services and such, but at a policy level, so that it's systematized and important. And that's, again, I think something that we plan, obviously, but we in Habitat also really, really want to say is that you need what we call the normative level, and people look at you, normative, what does that mean? Normative means that we're doing the research and linking the research to policy and making sure that we work with the politicians to make it happen. And that it's oftentimes, and having worked in the children and youth field for many years, it's children and young people and young women specifically, and then if you go into all the other intersectional barriers that you look at, or if you look at it intersectionally, a lot of the different barriers, if you're young and indigenous, if you're young and disabled, if you're young and LGBT, and so on. I mean, those are, again, layers upon layers of diversity, which is really exciting, and amazing if it's brought to bear, but also potentially barriers to involvement and engagement. So, I mean, we need to hear these voices, and I can't plan for outlining that. So, as I said, what I'd like now, and I'm sure you've all written down all your questions, right? So what I'd like is to get 2 or 3 questions. You can feel free also to make a statement or what you think too, but try to keep it short because we have many, many people here. So, go up front. Oh, right. Sorry.
So, I'm really interested in the connections between girls, education and livelihoods. And the trouble is, I've been to many different UN events, and it seems to cut across those, the different groups. So one of the closest was maybe the Education Commission, which presented at the UN in September last year, where 30 national leaders basically stood up and said, half of all girls under 30, but actually also half of all youth under 30 are going to be unemployable because the system of education doesn't go all the way through to livelihoods. But it's even worse for girls. And so I've been doing research both in China and Bangladesh, which are two groups which actually contribute $250 million of these girls. And I don't really hear exactly where, because it sort of cuts across systemically all the different goals, you know, is there a bit more on that which has been coming out for us?
Great. Anyone from the panel want to take that on? Ravi. No, and so as Ravi, you haven't been introduced yet. Introduce yourself. And then go for it.
So my name is Ravi Karka. I work as Senior Advisor to the Deputy Executive Director of the Women, and I also have the honor to work with UN Habitat. I think this is a very, very critical area. So last year, UN Women launched a global coalition of young women for skills, innovation and entrepreneurship, which is really to look at reforming the secondary education system and ensuring that the secondary education system is, catering to the market demands. I'm also very, very happy, and I'll speak about that later, as we recently launched the virtual skills school, which is also to create both soft skills and technical skills that can be available to various adults and girls and young women across. We have just now partnered with another interesting private foundation, which is the Google, which is offering 10,000 free scholarships to adolescent and girls and young women so that these skills can be developed. But of course, the larger question is that if you look at the conversation of the fourth industrial revolution and the definition of those jobs, nobody has that definition yet. And that's why the critical thing that we're investing on with partners such as UN Habitat and Planet International is focus on building innovation, focus on STEM, entrepreneurships, financial inclusion, and financial literacy to be included in the in the education curriculum. Right now, these are very outdated curriculums, and there's no other space available for an adolescent girl who says, I need to understand what banking means to me. I need to understand what does it mean if I have to start coding. So in West Africa, for example, we work with I'm a Code, which is to teach adolescent girls on coding, which is I'm a Code. So I can go on with this, but that's very quickly, and I'm happy to speak to you later. Sir.
Great. Alex.
I think a really interesting question and something that we have discussions with girls and with boys as well. That we tend in the sector to sectorize things. So that when you talk to a girl, you know that you talk about education and you talk about the city, their lived reality is about everything. So what I feel that we need to also start to be thinking more strategically and more integral in a way of even in the cities. What's the role of the city to support a girl through all her life cycle? So what does the city has to do with education? What does the safety has to do with her? To really have a 360 approach to empower with that and to their rights. I think one thing that I've realized this week here at the CSW is how little are we talking about rights in the CSW, which is something really worrying in a way that if we're talking about the Commission Status of Women's Education and Girls' Rights, the things that you mentioned are actually rights. So how the city can help us achieve those rights is something that we need to really explore through partnership, but also through solutions.
I think it comes down to again back to this notion that as the city as a tool to create citizenship and allow girls and women to benefit, but also create and pursue what it means to be a citizen in a global or a local context. To do that, the city has to systematically address the inequities that they face. So it's not just a question of getting a girl to school and having that school deliver a vocation. It's about making sure that the impact of unequal policy and unequal dynamics that unfortunately define too many women's lives are modeled differently so that they actually facilitate. And I think most modern economies and most big cities have school systems and they have jobs that can be filled by anybody of any gender. The challenge is that if you are a refugee in a place like New York or Toronto or Paris or name a major western city or northern city, if you're a refugee in that circumstance, the need to suddenly land in an unfamiliar environment and make a living. Quite often what happens is that women are subjugated to the home and to take care of the home, and the man is sent to do manual labor to make money very quickly. Women don't get access to things like language programs. So in the province of Quebec in Canada, women are paid to do language training, which means that they're paid to acquire the language which allows them to access and act as citizens. And what that does is it creates an environment whereby women are the wage earners in a household. And instead of being told to stay at home, they're actually pushed out the door to get to language training because it brings money into the house. So you create mechanisms that and experiment with these ideas. And then what happens, and this I think is the brilliance of Habitat 3 and the United Nations, is that cities can share those practices across all kinds of cultural and national borders very quickly, whereas countries have a very difficult time doing that. And so you can lend it to another province in Canada, or you can lend it to New York, or you can transport it very quickly to Paris. When you create the mechanisms that create equal opportunity, you get the outcomes of women finding the work they need to do to support themselves and participate in society. But if you don't model the elements of the city services to achieve that, you don't get it. And the same goes for the design of transit. If you design transit stations by only listening to engineers as to what makes a tram or a bus or a subway car flow quickly, if you don't also design the subway station to make young women feel safe, they won't use it. So you've got to take a look at the design of your infrastructure in such a way that it equalizes opportunity, not simply provides basic services. So when you start to do these things, you build not just a safer place and a more productive place for women, but it's in the same way that ramps for people with disabilities create opportunities for people pushing baby carriages or older people who have mobility issues that aren't necessarily tied to a wheelchair. You suddenly realize that solving the most vulnerable populations' biggest problems creates opportunities for everybody, and it further extends the rights and possibilities of citizenship. Again, when you look at the city, not as a place that houses a problem, but a place that is the laboratory for solving problems, suddenly the pathway from girl to school to education becomes that much simpler to realize and understand.
Hello, I am Haru. I am a member of the AGI. I wonder how many of you know what AGI stands for. And I think this could be an interesting question to continue this very interesting exchange of ideas. AGI is the advisory group on gender inclusion that the executive director of UN Habitat established some years ago. And the AGI was thought as a tool to ensure the inclusion of gender in the process to the new urban agenda, and now in the implementation of the urban agenda and the monitoring of it. And just to continue with this exchange and the question that was posed, I want to say that notably women make the majority of in all levels of education, in primary school, in secondary school, in technical level, at the universities. We women are the majority, and we are much better scholars than men in all the studies that have been done, at least in Latin America and in most of the countries of the world. And then we can ask why, if women are more educated than men, more little girls and young girls have better education than men. These discriminations persist, and what happens with the society and with the cities and the people living in cities in this complex, extended phenomena that are cities in the world, why, if women are more educated, they still live threatening on their bodies, yeah? And their bodies are the first territory in dispute in those environments. And I think that one issue we should analyze and understand is that we need to modify the culture. We need to modify the symbolic, the way that women are conceived in society as different from men. And another point I want to make is the persistence of the sexual division of work. with what here the Minister of Canada has been addressing, and I thank you very much for the position you are bringing here, because if we analyze the persistence of the division of labor between men and women, we are also going to highlight many, many differences. For instance, even being best student and boys, girls drop school because they have to take care of the brothers and sisters, the younger one, or because they just have to replace the mother in the domestic work. So we need to know, I think Alex gave us a very interesting point. Data. We need data. We need information that will give us a more close picture in where are women and men in society, in those cities. Where, I mean, what are their levels of education? What are their levels of job? I mean, women are more educated, but women are the larger population looking after a formal and steady job. So again, those contradictions that are highlighting of the discriminations that our societies are still, I mean, culturally taking, I mean, happening. Another point I want to make is, okay, then if I will have another moment, no, but I wanted to ask, regarding education, I wanted to answer you, because I think it's a very important question, and it's also a very usual approach, which we need to in deep and complex.
Okay, and I'd just like to kick in Habitat's 2 bits on this as well. At the video you saw, one of the programs that we've run is called, that we've developed, is called Innovate Kenya, which is specifically, again, basing on what Ravi talked about, is getting young women involved in innovation, young men and young women, but we very much focus on that. And it's also a misunderstanding or a glossing over the fact that there's certain places in the world, such as Kenya, which are doing amazing things around technology. We work with a group called iHub, I-H-U-B, if you Google it. It's amazing. It just had Mark Zuckerberg there. It's had many, many different people come through it. And it basically is homegrown technology and innovation happening in the African context, and they're building it for them. And so we've developed this Innovate Kenya program, which we're turning into Innovate Africa. We're moving it into Somalia, and specifically, again, focused on getting young women involved in technology, which is quite amazing to see how that works. Okay, so I'll take one more question. I know I was going to say 3, but I think that was exciting. So we'll do some gender balance. The young woman behind the young guy. That's you. Yep.
Good evening, and thank you all the panelists for being here. I'm particularly interested in the question in the discussion from Alex. As you mentioned, that you're using the statistics at the international level, and also trying to transform qualitative data into quantitative data. I know it's more evidence-based and data-driven. So every information used is for making better funding decisions and to make better policy. So my question is, so when you're doing the research in Delhi, have you ever encountered any difficulties in collecting the data? For example, if you ask questions to those adolescent girls, probably they may reject to answer your questions, or because of fear or some other issues. So how did you solve this kind of problem and trying to make the results or statistics not that biased? And how did you encounter the difficulty? And it's the same with UN Habitat, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. That's a very, very good question, and something that many researchers and us as practitioners face all the time. the methodologies that we have developed do take that into consideration. And in particular, the Girl Empowerment Startup, what we basically do is that we conduct focus group discussions, which a small number of girls and boys separately. These focus group discussions, you never ask one of the things that we learned in the field is that you can never ask about your individual experience. We're talking about girls that are like you. So that also helps to, first of all, to go beyond child protection issues, because we're asking very sensitive issues around safety in the city, about sexual harassment, about boys. And secondly, that's the power of the qualitative research. It's not that you answer a survey with very quickly. It's that you have to spend enough time with the girls and the boys to really unpack some of these issues. And that's what we do. We do a very thorough discussion with them, but the data is what we find. So they actually rank these things using the star and also complemented with notes around how the different issues are discussed. So it's a mix of both quantitative and qualitative. And that's the power of it.
Thank you. Also for you and Habitat as well, in doing some of the data collection and stuff, what we do is we actually train young people to do the data collection. And so when we're looking at getting data from young women, we train young women to get data from young women. The data is often much cleaner, it's much more in depth. It also, especially if you're talking women, you're also talking against space. If you are a young man, going in and trying to interview a woman in some spaces, they can't get in, or there won't be. It's in some places it's illegal to even talk to them. So we really try to look at how you can easily facilitate that, and we find a participatory research model. A model is something that is really valuable. We also find that with the new technologies, and I would just a big plug here, geospatial technologies expand massively the type of data you can collect, and it's really the new cutting edge of data in collection. So that's great. So
it's also critically important to understand that the process of trying to build a more equitable society is in fact the delivery vehicle for that equitable society to arrive. So I represent a riding that has a major revitalization of a public housing neighborhood underway, and the survey of residents to find out what they wanted in the new community that they had a part in building. We paid the residents to put the survey together with experts sitting on the sidelines making sure that it was usable data. We then paid them to go out and do the interviews and do the surveys and interview people. And if there was a Vietnamese family, they were interviewed by a student who spoke Vietnamese. If there was whatever the cultural match that needed to be made, we had the capacity to do that. But in doing so, the developer of the community paid the community to write the report that was the foundation for the community to evolve. And so you actually end up using the research as economic development as much as it is social development, and leave behind a legacy, if not a new neighborhood, at least new jobs that were present in the community while they struggled with some of the challenges that local communities face. Again, this is using the city as a tool to solve the problems you're trying to solve.
thanks.
Gives you better data.
Did you want to
Much
do
better.
that? Quick follow-up? Thank you very much, Adam.